think he's joining right now. Sorry. Hey, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, you guys?
Not much, but we're super excited to interview you. Sad because our cousin actually is doing this project with us, PacBleu, and he couldn't make this interview because he's actually in New Orleans right now. But super excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, New Orleans is amazing, so at least he's there. That's
Yeah, definitely. All right. Yeah, like my brother said, we can't wait to interview you. So I'll start my first question. What inspired you to become a musician in the first place?
well, music has been a really interesting journey for me because I started off by playing guitar and I would write poems and I knew that I wanted to create music, but I didn't know exactly what I wanted to make because I had listened to so much stuff growing up. Everything from, hip hop, 50 Cent, Kanye,
Yeah.
to, Nirvana, grunge rock, classic rock, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff. So I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was rapping and I was, playing guitar. And eventually, through getting the program Ableton from a friend, I started making beats and eventually put my guitar on it. And I would start to rap to those. And then guitar taught me more about melody. And then I messed around with singing. And then eventually just kind of found my own lane with what I wanted to do. And so, yeah, there's been so many artists that have inspired me to make music. And someone who taught me about just being true to yourself and always saying what you want to say and knowing your own story has value is Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. That's one of my biggest inspirations ever because no one's really doing it like that guy and no one ever has. So, so that's one of my biggest influences to just, trust in your own ideas and be yourself.
Yeah. How old were you when you started playing guitar?
I want to say like I don't know, like probably 15, but I didn't really start getting serious about it until I started making beats, and
Yeah.
realizing that you can actually do more with a guitar than just play and sing a song. You can use it in production and you can use it as a tool to write songs. So guitar I kind of took more seriously once I started getting into music production.
Yeah, super cool. My brother's actually been dabbling with the guitar a little bit, but so what's the biggest misconception about you?
That's an interesting question. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about me is that I am just, a musician, I guess, because that's not really my main focus. I started off acting and making films. When I was in school, wasn't really making as much music as I am now. I was
Yeah.
making films and I was doing plays, theater. So, and that's still where my passion lies as well, just as much as music. Music's just another outlet for me. So I'm actively, making films right now. I'm writing scripts all the time. I'm auditioning and working in, film and TV. So, yeah, I think one of the biggest things that a lot of people don't know that is that, I started off in the, film and television and theater industry.
Yeah. Yeah. We listen to your music a lot. Super good.
Thank you.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the election tomorrow?
You know, I'm nervous. I can't lie and say I'm not nervous, as most of the country probably is. I think there's a huge energy of like impending doom in the country right now because we really don't know what the result's going to be, and even if the result is one way or the other, there are so many things that still come with that. You know, so while I am nervous, I feel like I still have a sense of optimism because there are so many people like we've never before, like yourselves, that are actually out here trying to make change and that are finally stepping up and talking about the important subjects that we really haven't talked about as much at all up until this point. Like Black Lives Matter has been a movement for multiple years, but it just this year rose to prominence and was in the light more than it's ever been. So I think Trump's presidency has really shown a lot of true colors, but it's also given that response more of an amplified voice.
Yeah. So we are pretty much just here to listen and learn from you.
Yeah,
But
I'm also curious though from you, like, how do you feel about the election coming up right now?
um, well, like you said, definitely nervous because we are two huge ocean lovers, and
Hmm.
I feel like Trump. One thing that he's blatantly said is he does not care about the environment and doesn't even believe in the science, and that is super worrying to us, our whole family, and stuff. So we are just nervous about that because the ocean and the environment, the snow, all of that is just a second and third home to us.
Hmm. That's really, that's really important, and I agree too. I mean, the ocean is one of the most important things in the world to me, and it's so tragic to see how people are treating it and how in politics that just doesn't get reflected at all. It's almost like that's the last of the priorities is
Yeah.
the environment, and the fact that we're on the brink of a complete mass extinction of so many species and so many, just beautiful aspects of the earth and nature. It's really devastating, and it's terrible because we have to somehow bridge these human issues with the environmental issues, because it's like, cool, we need to focus on what's happening right now and the people that are suffering right now, but we also need to focus on the world 100 years from now, and all of our, ancestors, and when we're the ancestors, it's like what did we not do for the people that are going to live after us, and what can we do to make sure that our children, our children's children, have the resources that they need to, like, actually survive and thrive on this earth, because right now we're not in a good place, and there's nothing really being done. We have young people like yourselves, going out and trying to make change, but we're only so powerful. We're more powerful in numbers, and we're more powerful when we get taken seriously by the actual people in power. So I think it's super important to focus on
Yeah,
the environment.
yeah, very well said. It's crazy how divided it is. Um, um, and so, like I said, we're just here to learn from you. Um, what is one thing that us as young white people can do to be more allies of the Black community? Oh,
Incredible question. I love that you asked that question. And I think just by you asking that question, you're already taking a step, because a lot of people might not feel comfortable to even ask that question. I think that's where it starts, is you being aware of your privilege and being aware of what you have in the world and the certain opportunities that you might have that some Black or people of color don't have, and
Yeah.
I think so. I think that's the first step. You just asking the question of what you can do to be allies. That's so important. And then the next step is listening, is just taking the time to hear people out and to learn about how your privilege has affected your life and how the lack of privilege has affected other lives. So I think that's super, super important. And I'm really glad you asked that question. So I think it's just a matter of, at least at the surface, it's a matter of you listening and using your platform to amplify Black voices, voices of people in marginalized communities, and doing whatever you can to use your platform and your voice to amplify those voices, because silence is a stance. So just by you asking that question and you trying to take the initiative to learn what you could do, that's absolutely the first step. So it's really just about learning where your privilege has benefited you and trying to work to help Black people to have the same privilege that everyone should have. You know what I mean? So I think you just have to use your voice to amplify those people. Go out and protest with everyone. Learn about the history of why you have the privilege that you have. I think all those things are so important. But I think it's just amazing that you even asked me that question, because that shows me that you are an ally.
Yeah, definitely. We've always been taught to like speak up about what we think is doing wrong, and now with social media, it's also
Absolutely. That's
easier.
amazing. I love that. Your parents are amazing.
Yeah, so like speaking of that, it seems like you're becoming a little bit more socially and politically active on Instagram.
Hmm.
And other social media platforms? What's inspiring you to do that?
Just the state of the world, and the fact that there are so many things that I've seen in the world that just make me want to cry, that make me really upset. And that all starts with Trump's presidency. I mean, it goes way, way further back than that. But, it just so happens that I've garnered a bigger platform since this presidency, and I feel like regardless of who cares whatever I have to say or who listens, I feel like it's my job to I don't know, go out of my way and say the things that I need to say and the things that I believe. So there's no real like, I don't know. It's not really about just me trying to be more and more active. It's more so about seeing the things that I want to change and the things that I need to change in the world and just doing whatever I possibly can to do that. And it all starts with, anyone that has a voice, anyone that has a platform, they need to be speaking out because just like anything, silence is a stance. If you choose not to say something about an issue that you really care about, that's called being a bystander. And that's no different than actually being the person to perpetuate the negativity or the problem in the world. So, yeah, I think especially with this election, it's the most important election of our lifetimes, and a lot of people think that their vote doesn't matter and that they're not represented by either candidate, and I understand that, I really do, but there's too much at stake to have an ego with this particular election. There's way too much at stake to to not use your voice at this point. So I think for me, it's really just it's a matter of I have this platform regardless of how big or small it is. I have to say something. I have to say what I feel, and there's no being neutral anymore. We have this is serious. This is a real thing that affects so many lives and is life or death. It's beyond just what do we believe at this point. It is a matter of life and death for people. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we completely agree. We're trying to use PacBleu to speak up about the environment, racism, um, kind of anything that we can get to, and inspire other people to do the same and spread hope that there's still people that care about the environment and inequality and stuff.
Yeah, it's
right.
great to see people super engaged.
Yeah, and I really appreciate what you guys are doing too, because I mean not a lot of people are willing to use whatever platform and just dedicate their lives and so much of their own time to making a change and to focus and talk about the difficult things to talk about, like what's going on in the world right now, the environment. That's so important, and I feel like the environment gets so neglected. People are not even choosing to look at science because of what people in power are saying. It's just so important for us to use our voices, especially as young people. Because we're the ones that are going to make a change. We're the next generation. We're the ones who are going to be talking about these things, hopefully 50 years from now. So we're still going to be caring, and we're the people who, I mean, if you look back at all the political leaders who were doing everything back in the 60s, it's like a lot of them, yes, a lot of them are not alive anymore. But when you see people like Bernie Sanders, who was out there doing those same things, it's just cool to know, okay, you've been about this your whole life, your whole career, and I think that's really important. And those are the people that are really going to make changes. Are the people that understand the problems and the prejudices in the world, and that dedicate their lives to changing those. And that's not to say that you can't do other things. You can't be an artist. You can't be any of those things. But it's just really important when you have any sort of platform to just use it for whatever you believe in.
Yeah, completely. So just to the people who are live right now, if you have any questions, please drop them in the chat, and
Yeah,
we'll try to ask you about them to try
sure.
to get
Yeah,
people engaged.
definitely.
But for now, when you think about your life 10 years from now, what are you doing? Like ideal scenario?
I'm the best filmmaker in the world. I want to make films. I want to make movies, and something I'm already doing right now. But I really want to. I want to have the ability to give any artist that I believe in the chance to never have to work again and only be able to pursue their art. I want to have the type of power in the industry to make careers. To see someone like there's so many artists right now that I think are so incredible, but they don't have the luxury of just being able to quit their job and put their art their all their time into their art and do that full time. And I wish I had the power right now or the funding and whatever it is to just look at those artists and say, hey, quit your job, I want you to focus on your art for the rest of your life, you know. And that's the kind of power that I want to have within the industry. And I want to be able to create whatever I want to do, you know. And I want to be able to have an even bigger platform to talk to people like you about, and to make more of an impact in the world, you know. I just want to impact people, I want to inspire people. I want to i want to be what Donald Glover was for me when I was a kid, you know, like, and even now, like seeing that dude, uh his the way he's grown as an artist, and the way he was just the most unapologetic black nerd, and I have never related to anything more in my life. So and like other people like Kid Cudi, another person who inspired me like that. You know, I want to be that to the youth. You know, and um, only because I know what it did for me, and I know that's what saved my life. That's what changed my life. That's what inspired me to be the person I am now. So I just want to see that in the world. You know.
Yeah, I love that your ideal scenario is having enough power to help others, not like control others.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
it's
that's
always about lifting other people up.
yeah. You know, I think that's the key. That's the key to the world, because you know I'm always worried that my life has no meaning. That's like my whole thing. Like the existential crisis is: are we here for a reason? What are we here to do? And at the end of the day, what I learned, at least for myself, is I'm here to help people. I'm here to inspire people, to help people create the things that they see in their minds, to give other people voices. And as much as I want to do the things that I want to do, I want to see other people do the things that they want to do just as much. And I just think it's so important to be the change that you want to see, and to implore people and inspire people and let people know that they can be what they want to be. It's completely possible. You just have to put in the work and you have to believe in yourself. And I know that gets corny like after a while, but it's so true, and I can prove it. I can literally prove it. So I think it's just important for everyone, especially the youth, to know that they can be what they want to be in the world, and they don't have to listen to their parents if they disagree with them, you know? Like, you are the ones that get to choose. It's your perspective that is everything in life. Like, I was just talking to someone about this like an hour ago. Like, the way that you choose to look at the world is what the world is.
Yeah,
It doesn't. Your external circumstances don't matter. Yes, there are things that matter, like this election and the things that are really going to impact the world. But at the end of the day, it's the way that you choose to look at everything and your perspective that really dictates what you're experiencing in life. So I think that's just really important for me. And yeah, I just want to be able to inspire people and help people as much as possible, and just make changes that I wish I saw when I was growing up.
yeah, definitely. That's kind of how we're feeling. So do you think there's a connection between racial justice and environmental justice?
Absolutely. There 100% is a connection between racial justice and environmental justice. I could give millions of examples. Let's start with Flint, Michigan. Everyone in Flint, Michigan has been in fact impacted for, I want to say, almost 1,000 days now. There hasn't been clean water in the city of Flint, Michigan. And there's been things to be done about it. Like Jaden has put the water box in Flint, Michigan, and we actually went there to check that out. And it's called 501c3, and they're basically implementing a system to filter water through this box, so people can go take the water that might not be clean, put it in the box, and then clean water comes out. And the fact that that has to be done is mind blowing to me, because this is a city, a place that is predominantly black, that has been cut from taxes specifically, and from funding from taxes specifically just to benefit other white communities and more notable, powerful communities. And so that's just one way we start, is just look at the government in Michigan and the way that they're choosing to neglect Black communities. And then you can also, you can look at pretty much any marginalized community where people are working off minimum wage or government money, like whatever it is, people just aren't making enough money to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And that's where they put more McDonald's, and that's where they put more chain fast food restaurants, because that's what people can afford. And they're not going to put the fancy vegan spots in those marginalized communities, because they know people can't afford those things. So environmentalism and racism, like, those things go hand in hand. And the way that the resources that we have, the certain parts of the world that benefit more from whatever it may be, but from the certain, like, basic human rights, when it comes to just, do we have clean water? Can we eat food that is healthy? The Black communities and the marginalized communities, those are the places that get most affected and that don't have those luxuries. So I think that's also a huge thing. I want to open, like, vegan fast food restaurants that are priced just like how McDonald's is in these communities, and that's just like a project in the future that I want to do, is to open up something that puts those sort of, like, healthy options in communities like that, and that's just a start, because it's a great question that you asked, but you can go on and on. But I'd say that Flint would be my best example for that. If you look at statistically what cities around Flint have clean water, and the fact that clean water is just not accessible there, it's like, yeah, I could go on forever about that and start crying, but it's a really terrible thing. And I think there's definitely a link there between environmentalism and racism.
Yeah, it's awful that not everyone can just get clean water and, like, healthy food.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, because everyone should be afforded that right, and I think it's terrible. And that, that goes into homelessness, and that goes into everything like that. Like, we need a better system. The system's failing so many people, and I think it all starts with us talking about it, and then bringing these ideas to people in power, and then making a change in whatever way that we can. And it feels like it's so difficult to do, because we don't have that type of power that people in Congress do. But you can go to your city council. You can write so many letters to the government, and you can write letters to the governor's office, and whoever it is. It's like, we really need to be doing everything that we possibly can to make these changes happen, because it's so much more life and death than it seems. Like, when you look at this stuff on your phone, or you see a video talking about how Flint hasn't had clean water for 1,000 days, but you've never been to Flint, so it doesn't really affect you. It's like, it doesn't matter. These are real people really, like, struggling. So I think it's just really important to at least start by discussing these things, raising awareness, and then doing whatever we can.
Yeah, so we have a question from a viewer. Do you see yourself doing any projects like Jaden's Just Water box project?
Yes. So I'm creating this entity called Existential Crisis Club, and it's going to be a brand, whereas we sell clothing and whatnot, and we connect people, and we're going to release some music through that and whatnot. But it's also going to be an initiative project. So say we're going to release, like, a collection of clothes, right? $5 or whatever percentage of this project or product that's bought is going to get put into a vault, and when the vault reaches a certain amount of money, then we're going to donate that to a mental health fund, something that's funding a mental health initiative for underprivileged people, and that's just one of the projects. Then we're going to do a community fridge in Skid Row, downtown LA, and things like that. So we're going to definitely be doing what we can with the resources that we have to actively make changes in our communities. And I'm already talking to some kids in this Discord server that we have about how we can do those things around the world. There's people from London, Jamaica, Brazil, all over the place. And we're all discussing right now, how can we make a difference in all of these different places with the resources that we have?
Yeah, that's great that you're doing that.
Yeah, so many cool ideas.
I'm excited
We'd love
about
to get involved with that.
Yeah, absolutely. We can talk after this, and I'd love to get your involvement in that.
So we have another question from a viewer. What are some ways you think young people are interested in the environment could start off to help?
That's a good question. I think one thing that's really important would be to do whatever you can in your own community. Like say you live near a beach, hold a beach cleanup with your friends. You know, it's COVID, there's a pandemic, so cool. Make sure it's socially distanced or whatnot. But that's something I want to do in Malibu soon is organizing a beach cleanup. So that's just one thing you can do. It doesn't cost any money. Takes a little bit of time, and you go and you can make it a fun thing. And you go and clean up your beach, clean up your local parks, do anything that you can to, I mean, write to your local congressman or whoever it is, you know, so that you can just make, it's possible to make the changes that you want to make. And it feels like, as you know, when you're young, it feels like you don't have any power, but it all starts
Yeah.
small. If every single person were to go out and clean up just a little bit of the world, think about how much cleaner the world would be, you know?
Yeah.
And I hate not having like the most solid answer for that, because that's what I'm working on myself too. But it really just starts by taking direct action, whether it's writing to someone or going out and cleaning up something, a place that needs to be cleaned in your environment, and or just helping someone, you know, like that's also another thing. Like, we're also focused on the environment, and we want to make so many changes in the environment. It's like, what all can we be doing, and can we be inspiring other people to do the same things that we're doing? I think that's also big. So it's also, you know, just by sharing certain facts on social media and telling your friends about how the world is being mistreated, that's also a huge way to help.
Yeah. Also, Surfrider Foundation, if you check out their website, they have calendars and stuff of when they're holding beach cleanup, so you don't even have to organize it with your friends.
Hmm.
You can tell them about it, but you can just show up there, and there'll probably be a couple people already doing it, and you can just join in and be there for however long you want.
I love that. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
There's
and then
also
also,
I was sorry. I was gonna say, if there's a, you can also look up community fridges in your anywhere that you live. If there's an active community fridge, you can try to look up how you can download, or I mean, donate any food that someone might need. You know, usually for the homelessness population and the homeless population, you can definitely be actively donating things that people might need. So.
Yeah, I totally agree because it's not, it's like if everybody had the mentality that, the mindset that what they're doing is helping, then more people would start to do it and then it would make a bigger impact.
Absolutely.
Everything's connected.
Yep, it's a chain reaction, you know.
Yeah.
okay, so here's another question from someone. How do I create a dialogue with my family members who have opposing views to me, opinions, the LGBTQ community, and so on?
That's such a tough one, and I'm sorry that you're going through that. Um, but I think it all starts with really sharing your perspective and sharing your experiences with those people and being vulnerable, you know. I think when people know how you really feel and who you are, there's no choice to accept that, or you don't need those people in your life, you know. Even if it's family and even if you're stuck with them, I understand how hard that may be. But some people, they just will never understand because of the way that they were raised, or the way that whatever it was, and the things that they learned in their life. And as sad as it is to say, for me, I feel like there are some people who really will never understand, you as a person, and me as a person, and everyone as people, and who we are, because there's so much hatred in the world. But I think it all starts with being vulnerable and sharing your experience with people, especially family members. They need to know that your opinion is valid, your feelings is valid, your existence in your life is valid. So I implore you to be vulnerable with people, and speak to people who you know you can trust and love, and don't be afraid to be yourself. And family isn't really measured, in my opinion, by blood. It's measured by people that you that you really love and that love you too, regardless of if they're related to you or not. So if your real family is not accepting of you, there's always going to be another family for you.
Yeah, I agree. It's important to tell the truth, and if people can accept you for that, they should know it's not you, it's most likely them that can't get around an obstacle.
Yeah, that's real. And yeah, and also if anyone ever needs to talk, we have a whole community in the Existential Crisis Club Discord right now, where the people are always asking types of getting answers from someone in there has gone through what you've gone through. There's so many amazing perspectives, so I definitely implore you to join that Discord server, and I could post the link again after this. Not in there. Um, yeah, I just think creating safe spaces, that's a huge thing for me, is creating places where people feel like they can be vulnerable and be open and talk about the things that we aren't usually, implored to talk about. There's so many things that are so taboo, but these are the things that make our lives what they are. And so many people just feel like they can't be themselves around their immediate people, family, friends, whatever it is. And I think that needs to end. We need to have more empathy for one another, and everyone needs to feel like they can be themselves and without judgment. I think that's such an important thing. So those are the kind of spaces I want to create, and those are the people I want to surround myself with, or the people that I feel like I can be vulnerable with, regardless of if I know them in real life. I've known them for years. I've known them for 5 minutes on the internet. It's like that's all it takes is for me to have a dialogue with someone and love someone is just pure acceptance and empathy. So that's big.
Yeah, completely. We'll try to answer or ask you one more question from a viewer,
Hmm.
and then start to wrap it up. So, do you
Yeah.
think that if we start growing our own food, we can activate real change?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think that's such an important thing. Being able to grow your own food is an amazing skill and an amazing thing you can do to sustain the world and your community. Because if you look at how most things are being grown in the farms that are distributing their produce or meats or whatever it is to the majority of the world or the country, those are the places that are impacting the environment the most. Specifically, like the beef industry, like that is impacting the environment pretty much as much as cars. So I think it's really important for us to know how to do those things, and as a collective, if we could all be growing our own food, yes, that would be incredible. I don't know if it's the most realistic thing in the world for everyone to be doing it, but I think even if you have the ability to do that and become uh, an environmentally friendly farmer or producer of whatever it is, I think that's really important. And I think someone just said community gardens. That's what I was going to say also, is
Yeah.
if we can have ways to create gardens in our own communities and places where people can go and be planting their own vegetables, planting their own fruits, their own crops, whatever it is, and we can all expand from that and learn from that and share those resources with our immediate communities, then eventually the big corporations are not going to have as much power over us, because we can actually do this for even cheaper if we just put in the work for ourselves. So yeah, I think definitely growing your own food is huge, and gardening is something that I've been wanting to get more involved in, and so I definitely this is going to inspire me to do that. So thank you for
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, that's super awesome. So we were super happy to be able to interview you. And everybody listening, please go check out his music. It was super awesome. And also check PacBleu if you want more tips on how to get involved in environmental issues or anything, and follow along if you're willing.
Yeah. Tyler Cole's new album, Just Different. Great.
Thank you guys so much, and I really appreciate what you're doing, with the world and with your platform. I think it's really amazing. So I respect what you both do, and I think you asked some really great questions. And yeah, let me know if you ever need any support, and we can talk about the other projects that we're doing over at ECC. So we'll definitely have a good conversation after this for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Hope we can talk to you again soon.
Have you
Yeah.
ever been surfing?
Surfing? Yeah, I've been a few times. I'm not as good as I want to. I'm pretty good at
Yeah.
snow, but I can stay up. I can catch a wave, but I'm not as good as I want to be. But I'm planning to go soon again. So if you guys want to teach me, give me some tips. I'm always down to surf.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go.
We'd love to meet up. We should totally go out.
I'm so with it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, great. All right.
Amazing.
Well,
Yeah, you're super inspiring. Thank you so much for talking to us. And we'd love to talk again soon.
Absolutely. And to everyone listening, go check them out. They're really awesome. They're really awesome in what they're trying to do with the world and what they're actively doing. And this is a great conversation. And I hope everyone is just staying safe out there, staying inspired, and just know that this too shall pass. And this election is it's a really interesting and difficult time for so many people. And I know that it can be hard and stressful. So if anyone needs to talk about anything or wants to talk about anything, I'll be in the Discord server, the Existential Crisis Club Discord server. So come check us out in there.
Awesome. We'll definitely check that out. Thank you.
All right.
thanks so much.
Have a nice
good
rest of your day.
You too.
Oh my god, I say
You're so excited? So these flashcards are noun flashcards. Can you say noun?
No, doctor,
Noun flashcards. We're going to practice our nouns today.
I hold it.
You want to hold it? Okay, Zyla has never seen these flashcards before. These are brand new. So I wanted to try something different and show you the process of her seeing flashcards for the first time and learning them in real time. And let's see if she knows some of these already. You want to sit in my lap?
No, I
Oh,
want
you want to sit on your own? Okay. Okay. You pull out just a few at a time, okay?
out.
Let's see how she's going to do. What is this?
I look at that. Here's them.
Try again. What is this?
Boo.
A boat. That's very close. It's a ship.
I want to
It's the same. It's kind of the same thing. It's just a bigger boat. So they called it a ship.
sit.
Okay, there's ship. What's this?
And boat.
This is a tram.
Can.
Okay, tram. Oh, I'm sorry. Mommy can't read today. This is a train.
Train.
Train. That's what happens when I try to read the card through the reflection of the phone. Ooh, what's this?
Boo.
This is called a movie theater. Yeah, movie theater. That's where you go to watch movies.
Go to the
What's this?
house. Playground.
Playground. You knew that one. Nice job. Playground.
Playground.
What is this one?
Celebration.
A celebration? You think they're having a celebration because they're raising their hands?
Yeah.
That's an accurate guess. But this is actually a classroom. Classroom.
Classroom.
Yeah, they're raising their hands to ask a question. They're asking their teacher a question.
Next one.
Next one.
Splash in the water.
Splash in the water. That's right, that is water. And you know what this is called? This is called a waterfall.
Waterfall.
Waterfall. Okay. These are new ones that we're learning. You're doing a great job. Okay, can you help me find train? Where's train?
Tea.
Where's the train? Nice job. That's right.
Additional card.
Okay, I'll get some more after, but you have to hand me one by one real quick. Can you pass me the ship? Where's the ship? Yes, nice job. How about classroom? Where's classroom? Classroom. Where's the classroom with all the students and the teacher and they're raising their hands? Where's the classroom? There it is. Thank you. And playground? Thank you.
I love a playground.
Ooh, you like the playground? Oh, how about waterfall? Can you pass me the waterfall, please? Thank you. And last one. What's that one? Movie theater. Yay! Great job. Music break.